Hi. A lot of the times when, as managers, we are complaining on the field, it's usually about our teams or our bosses, right? Um, People. And yet, when you hear about managers, you ask managers, what's their biggest problem? They'll say people management, oftentimes, no? They won't say, I've rarely heard anybody say it's the actual implementation of the humanitarian intervention. They'll talk about the problems with teams, with people, team management, people management, etc. Yeah, and it's kind of like, to me, an oversimplification of the difficulties of management, right? Because there's so much more to in managing or implementing, as I keep saying, I prefer to call it, implementing a humanitarian intervention than the problems that emerge with people, right? So if you're having a lot of problems with people, that means that's your problem, right? We have to assume that as managers, we will always be managed by a certain level of incompetence, and we will always have ourselves a certain level of incompetence, and we will always have to manage a certain level of incompetence, right? So the incompetence factor should be given, right? Just assume that your boss will be incompetent in something or some things, you are incompetent in something and some things, and each member of your team will be incompetent in some things and to some degree, right? And then there's, apart from competence, there's personality, right? So we need to assume also that part of the difficulty of managing people is personalities, right? Not because personalities are problematic per se. There will be people who have parts of their personalities that are complicated. Everybody has parts of their personality that are complicated. But again, we need to assume this like we assume certain degrees of incompetence. And we need to assume it and learn how to manage it better. Because if not, if we just complain all the time about this person and that person, then our lives will just be miserable as managers. That isn't to say that by doing by practicing what I preach, that things will get easier, but I think it will change the way your mindset as a manager, right? So you're not like, oh, I'm surprised that this person is incompetent in this thing, or I'm surprised that this person has a personality trait that is difficult to manage, right? I think this will make it easier. And when we talk about incompetence, we have to be careful, again, not to use the term in a blanket way. Nobody, or very few people, are fully incompetent, right? It would be difficult to find somebody who is incompetent in every single thing. It would be difficult to find a personality that has no positive traits, right? So the problem is when it comes to, like, somebody gets the label of incompetent, it kind of spirals from there, right? And skillful managers know how to work with incompetence, and skillful managers know how to work with personality traits that may clash with their own or other members of the team. And these are skills that need to be worked on as managers, right? Because you can't just complaining your way out of situations isn't going to fix them. And the more you complain and the less action you take, the situation will stay at the same at best and get worse at worse, right? So this is important. How we think of incompetence, how we think of competence, and how we think of personalities. Okay? So I will say a bit more about that in another video.